Hey everybody, welcome to day 18. So on this day 18, I've been doing a lot of videos that were either inspirational or talk about different things in my life. You know, it's no secret that I've talked about my ex-husband. Just for legal purposes, I'm not going to divulge his name. But I've spoken throughout the shows, and I've spoken about, different things that have happened to me from my ex-husband. And I wanted on this day 18 just to share with you a little bit more personal information about what an abusive ex can do to someone. The number one thing that I've learned about when someone is abusive is that when a woman is faced with an abusive situation, every black man after that has to pay the price for what one man has done. It's no wonder why so many of our amazing black women are having such a hard time with getting into relationships, because little do you know, or some may know or don't know, is that we suffer a lot from PTSD when we've been through an abusive relationship. That might sound a little weird to you, but a lot of women suffer, especially when they've gone through a traumatic situation with an ex, maybe not even an ex-husband, just an ex in general. We unfortunately go through some things that are triggers, and those basically can be diagnosed to PTSD from what we've been through. My relationship with my ex-husband was both physically abusive and mentally abusive. I don't really think I spoke too much about the physical side of the abuse, because while I'm going to say it was minor, it was still abuse no matter what. But the mental abuse that a person can do to you can be so horrific that you will never forget it. And I think this is why I say that our black men then have to suffer for it, because we women will become single and we'll meet a great guy, and the minute he does one small thing that to us triggers something in us, we immediately get defensive, and we immediately want to attack, and we immediately want to go into this attack mode where we are protecting ourselves from what we can go back into our mental Rolodex and say, this reminds me of. So it is, it takes one hell of a man to just walk you through this process of saying, I know what you're going through. I'm not him, and I'm going to show you that I'm not him. When I got married and went through this whole process, I got married for all the wrong reasons. I mean, when I tell you all the wrong reasons, it was all the wrong reasons. I wanted another kid. I didn't want it out of wedlock. I call myself trying to show my daughter the structure of a husband and wife. I went through this checklist, and none of it had to do with marriage. It was all about what I wanted. And the sad part about it is that I just totally chose to ignore the signs of what was there. It literally turned into a situation of, he needed a place to stay, I wanted a husband, so let's get married. I didn't get to go get a dress. I didn't get to go through the process of picking out a dress. I mean, I did get proposed to. I had a great ring, whatever. There wasn't a wedding. None of my friends were there. No family was there. It was just strictly, there you go. So when you start cutting corners for your dreams, that has to tell you something right from the bat, that something's not right. But what this man did to me, I didn't realize the effects of it until after it was over. I mean, this is a man that obviously had went through some mental issues that I was not aware of, didn't know. Again, when you don't have these conversations, you don't know what people have gone through. This is a man that grew up in a family of 18 children, and he was the baby out of all those kids. So I don't know if there was some abuse going there or whatever, but it was as if this man was jealous of the relationship I had with my mother and daughter. This man was malicious. He did everything in his power to try to make things happen to my family. And he even went as far as, this is crazy when I look back and think about everything, he even went as far as trying to leave a door open with hopes that someone would come in here and either rob us or do something to my mother. He went to my daughter's high school and basically terrorized her there. And when I tried to go to an attorney and said, look, I need him out, unfortunately, because he's a husband, you just can't change the locks. You just can't get them out of your house. What I did was I prayed, and I said, I prayed for an opportunity. I prayed for a moment. I said, just get me out and I will figure out the rest. I mean, this is a man that clearly had another life. He was living with another woman, but because he had access to this house on a daily basis, he was stealing from here. He was terrorizing my daughter when I was catching the bus 2-3 hours to come home. He was terrorizing my mother, and he even went as far as to poison food. We couldn't prove it, but we know he did it. This man actually poured turpentine on baked ziti. And he did it because I served my elderly, bedridden mother before I made a plate for him. But then there was just everything from the terrorizing me, terrorizing my family, coming in 2-3 o'clock in the morning when everyone's asleep and making ruckus in the house. I mean, it was like I really felt like I was in a like Twilight Zone or something. Like, I'm like, how the hell does this go on? And he don't see. I remember there was times when I tried to sit and talk to him, and it was like talking to a wall. But everything was, my mind was being put through, I've got to get out. I've got to get out. And I didn't know how to get out. So it wasn't until I had a conversation with this man one night, and I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to share this with you as days long, because I'm sure there's going to be some women that's going to relate to what I'm about to say. I had gotten to a point where I felt I zoned out, like I was a zombie. I didn't even exist. I didn't know whether I was coming or going. I didn't know anything. I was 310 pounds. I was sick. I was going through everything. And I remember I sat on my couch and waited for this man to walk through that door. Even though I had to go to work the next day, I was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I didn't care if I sat there all night. 3 o'clock in the morning, that man walks in that door, and I'm sitting on the couch. And I remember saying to him, I said, can I just speak to you for a minute? When he sat on that couch, I looked at him and I said, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. I'm going to need you to leave. And in my hand was a knife. And I said to him, I said, I'm telling you, as the day is long, I hate you so much that I'm not afraid of what's going to happen to me. I'm afraid of what's going to happen to you. I said, because I'm sure I'm going to kill you. I was so built up with anger and hatred that I did not care anything of what was going to happen if I did something to that man. Even though I kept praying, please get me out, please get me out, please get me out. So it wasn't until one morning in May that I was getting myself ready for work. And I'm going to tell you the severity of how horrible it was to live in this home with him here was that I had to take my pocketbook into the shower with me every day because this man would steal my money, would go through my pocketbook, would go through my phone. He was looking, right? And I mean, you know, that whole theory of people used to say, usually when someone's cheating, they're looking to see if they can find something from you. So here it is one morning in May. I'm in the shower. This man breaks the door down. He breaks the door down to grab my pocketbook. So my only instinct was to take the pocketbook and run after him because he had my bag, he had my key, he had my everything in my bag. And I'm fighting him in my living room naked. My daughter hears the commotion and runs downstairs to my rescue. And that man pushed my daughter. And when he did that, it was the door that God had opened up because it was assault on a minor, and I was able to get him out the house. But to show you the severity of his evilness, and if you notice, I'm not crying because I've cried enough over what that man has done. He's not worth a tear to me anymore because this is now 2019. It's going to be 7 years when all this has happened. But I cried enough over that situation because I feel more empowered than anything. And I want my women to get empowered because what this man did is when he did that, the evil didn't stop there though. Because what he did was, while I'm here now trying to get the house in order, I called the police to file a police report. They said, yes, you got to go do a PFA. I said, cool, no problem. He's down there filing a PFA against me. This man is down at court lying, saying he owns this home, actually saying that this is his family. And while he's doing all of this, he's even saying that my elderly mother actually took her cane and hit him, and that at the time my daughter was in 9th or 10th grade, that she also assaulted him. So the end result, because he beat me to the punch, was that they kicked me out of my own home. Now, can you imagine when you're finding this out when you get to court to go file the PFA? So I'm saying to myself, my chest was hurting so bad while I'm in court because I'm saying to myself, my family's about to get killed. Like, I'm telling the person there, I said, he's lying. So the only thing that saved me was that I had the actual police report of what happened that morning. I had all the paperwork showing ownership of the home and so forth. I had everything. So this man was the kindest man I could ever meet. He said, Miss Scott, calm down. I'm going to reverse it for you. But while I'm getting this done, because he knew I was at court, he was here basically robbing the house while my elderly mother sat and she didn't know what to do. She's ringing my phone, but I'm in court. I can't answer her because I'm trying to get this thing settled. And this man is robbing us blind. So finally, I get out of court. I make it, and I call her. She's hysterical. And I said, just call the police, and we'll file a report now for basically us now being robbed. But what's crazy is that court dates followed from there for the PFA, and it was the most horrific thing you could ever go through, because to watch somebody lie and them continuously terrorize you. This man knew what time I took the bus, so I would be at the bus stop and he would be there in a car just trying to terrorize me. But it was weird because I felt empowered. I felt if I could get through this, I can get through that. But as time went on and my life became leveled out and my health became better and different things like that, I started to notice that as I was meeting men, they were paying the price for what that man has done. I spent years trying to meet people, and then I would find something, nope, don't want it. I mean, hell, I went as far as I did a show that I still do called Love Life Wednesday. That whole Love Life Wednesday was based on the fact of this problem of meeting men. And this is what I said to women the other day on the other video. It's not always them sometimes. Sometimes it's you. Sometimes it's your past. Sometimes it's what other people have done. And there are some great men out there, and we are making them pay the price for what the bad ones have done. I am in love with a man, Justin. This is for him. This man has watched me go through what I go through, and he is the only one that has sat back and said, I'm not him, and I'm going to show you I'm not him. It takes one hell of a man to see your pain and still fight for your love and his love for you, even though you're going through what you're going through. He had to keep reminding me that he was not him, even though I knew he wasn't him. It was still, I still had this nasty habit of making him pay the price. So that's why I say to my women, it takes one hell of a man to understand and care for you unconditionally, that he can go through your pain and watch you, but also take you down a new path. So I just say to my women, like, you've got to take a look at yourself sometimes. Just take a look at you and understand that there are some guys that are not going to be every single thing you want, and they are not your ex. Not every man is your ex. Not every man is a cheater. Not every man is a dog. There are some men that will genuinely love you for who you are. And you got to understand something. These black men have pain too, because they are suffering through PTSD of what tons of black women have put them through. So you got to be able to communicate and understand that we all have to give people an opportunity sometimes, just for the sake of love. I'm sure, without a doubt, for the rest of my life, I'm going to feel some little twerk, some little trigger or something from my ex. I'm sure of it. That is a permanent scar on my life. But what if I didn't take a chance to say, I'm just going to see how this goes? You know, I ended up going through therapy when I was done with this whole situation, and this therapist told me something, and I'm going to tell you guys. He told me that he didn't care how old I was. He said I had no clue what love was. He said, because no man has ever showed it to you. And I thought to myself, and I said, he's probably right. But what if you take that scar that you have within yourself and say, I'm finally going to try to heal it? And if you heal what is in yourself and you figure out what those issues are within yourself, you probably be a better version of you for someone else. You have to give people a chance. You have to give these men an opportunity and understand that they've been scarred too. It's not always just about you. And what if you gave that one guy an opportunity? What if? You never know what your tomorrow will be.